Welcome back to part 2 of our Lord of the Rings versus Rings of Power stunts and action comparison with the incredible New Zealand stuntwoman Bronte Coluccio, who worked on Rings of Power for 7 months. In the last episode, we discussed differences in filmmaking tactics, why some worked and why others didn't, why fight choreography not making sense can break a scene. In this episode, I really just want to get to the bottom of why I loved Lord of the Rings stunts and action so much, and why, as of right now, Rings of Power just has not done the same for me. Without further ado, let's get back into it. I love the lighting. I love how it's very scary. It's dark.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is when you first really see her as a bad.
Yeah, this is like our introduction
this
to
thing
her.
Without even looking at it.
Whoosha!
Oh yeah, that was good. I like the blood splatter on the camera.
Yeah.
Good effect.
I think that's a cool scene. I like that troll was freaky and like violent.
The reveal of those is everything. It's got to come at you. It can't be this slow, you know,
Right.
like they do really well with this massive, huge piece of ice coming and taking out all these guys. And it's just
I
like,
love
whoop,
that.
something big
Welcome.
through that.
Yeah.
And then bam, there's your something big.
Yeah. For this, I'm not crazy about the moment where the guy just like lays his sword down. And I get, it's like, okay, if you're an army, if you're a group of people, sure, you've got like coordinated things that like, hey, if this ever happens while we're on the battlefield, we'll do this. But I'm trying to think of like the moment in Avengers, right? When Cap launches Natalie. Yeah, I thought that was a more earned moment. This felt just like, that's a brief moment where I'm like, oh, is that choreography? That feels like choreography.
You know what this makes me think of though? When Legolas was actually like in the middle of the battle and going up the giant elephant.
Yes.
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 But he didn't have any help for that, right?
No.
He just like went.
He's a freaking G.
So then if we compare it, I'm like ability-wise between the two series, between two badass elves, should she not be able to like do the same thing?
Do the same thing?
He is Orlando Bloom.
And I could have done with struggle, like
Yeah.
in a little bit, in some way. Don't just be perfect, even if this is your character's introduction and we are trying to like build them up as this like you're saying, like this grand like character. It's like, well, if you're not even looking at this thing as you're fighting it, and then she kills it and she does like 2.5 flourishes, I don't know, it just felt a little not grounded.
What I'm wondering is how far along in her story are we? Because we know that she's
I mean,
badass, we
she's
know
like
where she ends up.
probably 1,500 years old at this point.
So are we saying by this point that she's like reached kind of her max potential? She's reached her max skill level?
Yes, but
If that's the case, then she should be acting like that from the onset. But if she hasn't reached that peak yet, if she's coming up to it, then we should still see some kind of struggle to see her progress, right?
I don't know.
You get the flurries.
Like, I understand. I'm very opinionated when it comes to Lord of the Rings. I do believe it is like the greatest thing ever. So I'm a harsh critic, but sometimes a harsh critic is a necessary critic.
They have a cave troll.
It's a great line. Yeah, it was such a great line. Because then we were like, well, what's one of those?
What's a cave troll, right? Yeah. I love it. He actually picks his hammer up and he almost falls over because of how heavy his hammer is. What I love about this is even how great our characters are, none of them are underestimating their opponent. Like, they're all very serious.
This is what I'm saying, the contrast between Legolas and Galadriel right now, right?
Right, he feels like an upper level human. Like, this just feels like a trained human. Now I want to show, this is actually my favorite scene with Arondir, the elf, in Rings of Power. Freaking catches that
the arrow.
which is dope. Like, I buy that. I totally buy that. Is that you?
Honestly,
You're like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Man. I could be any one of these.
I
dudes.
think at this point, I think I was in one of the skull caps, not one of the bone caps.
Sure. I love this. Like, these are moments. Like, I feel like these are moments. They're really taking their time. I think this is a great scene.
So we need you guys to run. Oh, we're doing arrow hits now. You, and you selling arrow hit.
Yeah?
Like, okay.
all right.
So now, are you in a real forest or are you on a controlled set? Have they built these trees?
Oh no, this is a forest.
This is a forest.
There's a farm called Humphrey's Farm where I spent the majority of the 7 months.
Wow.
That is also where most of the Hobbit scenes were filmed.
You mean the Harfoots?
Yeah, the Harfoots.
The Harfoots?
Harfoots are there. That's also where the tavern and the village was. And that's also where this scene was.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was all on the same massive property, just spread out across.
It was a simple scene, but like, he was an elf shooting accurately with a bow, which was like, that's what an elf is to me. They're not superheroes. They're not doing side swipes over wargs.
You're too obsessed with Legolas if you're just obsessed with the bow.
Catching the arrow, right? That's really cool. Building all the tension, right? Shooting one, oh my gosh, there's like 50 more behind him. Like,
I like the slow-mo. A lot of it was in slow-mo
really,
too. It's cool.
Yeah, it's very.
It's dramatic. It was,
it's great.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a good
Look, I'm gonna add some behind the scenes here. Because
Yes.
it's an actual forest, everything, everywhere.
All at once. Hey.
That's the name of the movie.
Quick question. Can you guess how long it took them to make Lord of the Rings? 8 years from beginning to end. No small part because of how long it took them to make the music, but that's because they didn't have Epidemic Sound, who are kindly sponsoring this video, helping them out. Epidemic Sound is the music platform for creators that I have been using for years now, and they have just upgraded their search system, making it even easier to find great music that fits exactly what you're looking for. I can go to browse, I can go to theme, and then I can scroll down. They've got albums for extreme sports, for lifestyle vlogs, for stories and interviews. These are perfectly curated albums that already drop you into the right style that you're looking for. But let's say I want to get specific for, I don't know, a fantastical film trilogy, and I can type in dramatic, if I can spell properly, epic, classical. Ooh! I can totally hear that in Lord of the Rings. That's awesome. I can't afford a 50-piece orchestra like Peter Jackson and Howard Shore for Lord of the Rings, but Epidemic Sound gets me pretty close to that sound, and right now they are offering a 30-day free trial. With it, you're gonna get a discount code that'll allow you to sign up for 2 months of 50% off, which is the biggest offer that I've ever had from them. So right now is a really, really good time to look into it and see if it works for you. Thank you so much, Epidemic Sound. Now back to the reaction. Cool transition. I hope.
We can't see that well, and the lighting is
Oh,
getting dark.
yeah,
so
totally.
the other thing we got to think about, there's a big boom.
Oh, so you can't see it at all. You're gonna like clothesline yourself?
We're all in like helmets, and our masks just have like eye holes, so you've got no peripheral vision. And if it shifts at all, like
You're
you lose
screwed.
your
You're
top
screwed.
part of your vision. And then it's like, okay, arrow hit.
And you're
some
surrounded
people
by
die.
people as well.
Yes, and then whoever,
people that die.
don't trample the people that die, because this
Because they're your friends.
right in the way. And then once you get to the end, don't run into the camera because you can't see it.
Oh, wow. That's a lot to juggle. Final thing I want to look at, we've been talking about Legolas, and yes, Legolas is our only look at like elves that are actually doing stuff. We see a little bit of Elrond in the beginning of Lord of the Rings when he's fighting in the battle, but he doesn't really do much. I want it to be like Legolas. I know a lot of like young males probably want it to be Legolas because he's attractive, he's cool, he's talented, he's skilled, and he's like clever, he's very, very smart. He's just like a great overall character.
In the films, they play him up to where you don't really see Legolas struggle much. You see Aragorn struggle, and he's Aragorn. I'm sorry.
Different movie. It's a different movie.
Right. But you see him struggle.
Yeah.
You never see Legolas really like struggle. To where
Right.
he's just like on the verge of death. You know, he's just like
Legolas is good the whole
It cuts
time.
to Legolas, and he's just
Boom,
like
firing
1,
away, man.
2,
3, yeah.
Oh, you guys are struggling over there, man.
Also, how many?
suck.
Can we talk about how many arrows does this guy have? If he's just like reeling this off, we cut away. He's got a full quiver every time we cut back.
This was before people started freaking out about action movies where nobody ever reloads. Like this was before those.
What they're not showing is like every 5 minutes he's like scouring for
That's
arrows
the
on the
shots
ground.
I want of Legolas. Get all just get all the
the
pull away shots
extended edition.
where Legolas is just fishing arrows out of people. Just
putting them back in his quiver.
you know, his guys are like struggling, dying. And he's just like,
I'll be right there.
This is my favorite one.
So just get a few more. I'm worthless without this bow.
Let's make it. Let's shoot it, Orlando. I know you're down, baby.
So yeah, we don't see Legolas struggle, but I guess like he's not really meant to be like an emotional character we attach onto. He's just kind of meant to be like our look into the world of what like an elf is. He didn't feel superhuman. He felt really talented. but it felt like what he did was achievable. Like this isn't a magician, he's a trained person. Like if I practice archery enough, I think I could make that shot. Like I might not be able to make it every time, but I think that is possible. The elephant, that's
exactly what I'm thinking.
But so let's watch it. Let's watch it and talk about it.
Oh, this is crazy. You're like Mario.
Right.
What is this?
It's like, does gravity not exist? And like you can see all the wires. You can feel that gravity does not exist in this world right now. And wait for the dismount.
Super sick back full. Hit it with the layout.
And then this.
The
like,
river of impossible physics.
Yes. Like,
oh, that was a cool shot. I do like that, but you know.
But this is just absurd. This is absurd. He's surfing people in a wide shot and then striding on heads, on barrels, on rivers.
It's literally like Daredevil, like Spider-Man right now.
Right.
This is crazy.
So that's like the new Legolas, the new elves. Yeah. But like this to me is what made Legolas special in the first place. He can hit shots. Yes. A shot that has a huge ripple effect.
Yeah.
In the fight.
Yeah.
Like 50 people.
Big impactful moment. All it took was a bullseye.
Just hitting shots. He's just standing there.
So
He's not...
stuff like that. That's sweet. You show him from afar. You show them from super far away, and he's
even this feels real. That feels real. The most iconic scene in Lord of the Rings here. So even that, like, yes, it's ridiculous, but it doesn't feel super. It feels like a thing that.
Like you could do it. This is the superpower.
So he does ridiculous stuff, but it's like, but even as he's doing it, he looks like he's thinking, he's planning, he's like
climbing
struggling.
Up the arrows on it was a very realistic way of seeing it. Like, because there's obviously a lot of arrows in there.
Right, and it's cool. So then when it actually happens, you're like, oh, like character tried something, they were trying to be clever, and it worked, and you feel the payoff. And the little head cock, that's so sick.
That still counts as one. That still only counts as one.
That wraps up this episode of us comparing Lord of the Rings to Rings of Power. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you to you, Bronte, for coming. Where can people follow you and your journey?
I am on Instagram and YouTube at Bronte Coluccio. I'm the only one in the world. I'll be easy to find.
If you guys liked it, giving a like on this video would mean so much, and you can subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, and please comment down below other things you want us to check out, whether it's more Lord of the Rings stuff or other franchises. Let us know, and it might make it on the bucket list. We will see you next time.